This morning about how healthcare workers can play a role in identifying fraud or exploitation or abuse. Officer Simeoni.
Chairman Collins, Ranking Member Casey, and members of the committee, I am humbled and honored to be here before you today. Thank you for the opportunity and for your commitment to protecting our older Americans. I am the founder and the president of the York County Elder Abuse Task Force. I am also a law enforcement officer at the Kennebunk Police Department. Over my law enforcement career, I've had the opportunity to complete extensive training in the field of elder abuse. I'm proud to have been part of numerous advances in combating elder abuse over the past 15 years. I have a true passion for being the voice of our vulnerable populations, primarily our elderly and those with disabilities. I hear heartbreaking stories like Mrs. Flavin's parents all the time, and I respect your courage to be here today. In fact, last year I worked on over 70 elder justice-related cases, ranging from simple scams to the loss of entire estates. I started the York County Elder Abuse Task Force in 2005. Once I realized that the multidisciplinary approach was so vital to protecting our elders, I knew I had to make it happen. My very first cases were incredibly difficult. I had so many questions. Within my profession, I could not find those answers. So I started visiting others who I thought could help me with the victims in my cases. The majority did not understand what elder abuse even was. It was a goal of mine to educate not only myself, but as many others as possible. In doing so, I built credibility, sparked some passion in others, and developed an incredibly solid task force with a group of professionals that I can count on when I need help. I realize that the initial goal for these cases should never be about prosecution. Instead, it should be about preventing further victimization as much as possible, and then work to develop a case. The York County Elder Abuse Task Force is a group of committed professionals from many different fields. We come together to share our knowledge and skills to serve as a resource to educate the public. We rely on each other to remedy our cases as effectively as we can and count on our skills to be an asset to victims and witnesses alike. The County of York is our primary focus, but making an impact nationally is our goal. But the most important goal for the task force is education. We vow to educate ourselves as much as possible so that we can be an asset to others. The group conducts mobile awareness discussions and presentations throughout our county and in our entire state. We coordinate senior safety roadshows where we give 30-minute talks on current scams in their particular areas. We encourage local law enforcement and town general assistance representatives to attend with us as we meet residents of their community. In addition, I instruct the Elder Abuse segment at the Maine Criminal Justice Academy for all cadets that become law enforcement officers in the state of Maine. We host a very successful conference focused on the importance of the multidisciplinary approach to elder abuse. I started this event 11 years ago. This, to us, is an example of building credibility and exemplifying the multidisciplinary mindset. At this year's conference, we were pleased to be joined by the newly appointed Elder Justice Coordinator at the U.S. Department of Justice. We distributed copies of this committee's fraud book to more than 100 attendees. I recognized the need for a specialized focus on our elder population the very first year I became a law enforcement officer. While dealing with a personal case involving my own grandfather, I also recognized the vulnerability of the community that I worked in. The York County coastline is inundated with retirees and many elders living alone. As a matter of fact, according to the 2017 U.S. Census data, the state of Maine is the oldest state in our nation still. The population of Maine over the age of 65 is nearly 20%. In Kennebunk, that same population is over 35%. With this knowledge, it's our duty to act. Traditionally, law enforcement has dealt with crime committed by and against a younger population. This population shift and the increase in crime targeted specifically against older Americans requires the development of specialized services to address elderly victims of crime. Fraud through the mail is fascinating to me, and not in a good way. One piece to the multidisciplinary approach for me has been my work with the U.S. Postal Investigators. I have learned a great deal from them. Seeing international scammers make our domestic elders unknowing vessels of fraud is heartbreaking. The innocent U.S. elders losing everything and taking other unsuspected victims along is devastating. The investigations are time-consuming, the resources are limited, and the law protecting this population from crime is not simple to prove. We need to move forward now with protecting our elders. The state of Maine would be an incredible place to start these greater initiatives. Together, we could pave the way to be an example for other states to follow. I encourage this committee to consider two strategies that would help professionals like me help our elders. One, I believe statute needs to be modified or changed to protect victims, even when they don't believe that they are victims. With reactive elder abuse, there's little hope for recovery because of the devastating effects of these situations. Those of us on the front line need to be more proactive to inform our elders, but we also need help lifting limitations of the current law when we do have to react. Many of the cases I see stall at the victims themselves. They don't want to recognize that they are in fact a victim. They can't comprehend why someone would manipulate them or prey on their innocence. Their abuser is often considered charismatic and comforting, something that those elders have not felt in a very long time. And two, I encourage the development of specialized law enforcement positions in each state, elder exploitation investigation teams, much like the Drug Enforcement Agency units, with the ability to arrest, see cases from start to finish. They need to work with multiple organizations and send solid messages to all of our residents about the seriousness of our efforts while directing message directly to those who are targeting our elders. I'm so grateful to be among all of you today, and I truly hope you understand the hope that you not only give to me, but to our older Americans. Chairman Collins and Ranking Member Casey have been so instrumental in recognizing the importance of this in tackling this catastrophe. Chairman Collins has been noted in many of my annual conferences that my task force holds and even contributed a wonderful keynote video in 2017. She gives me hope, and this committee gives me hope. Thank you all for your hard work in publishing the fraud books. They're available at our conferences every year. It's time to bring knowledge and new initiatives to the forefront to send messages that this epidemic is hidden no longer. I've been working really hard in my state for many years, and I'm at a point where I need help on the federal level. I hope that we can work together towards fighting this touchy subject, this hidden epidemic, so that statistics do not increase the way that they are predicted to do. Again, I thank you, and I look forward to answering any questions that you may have.
Thank you very much, not only for your testimony, but for your passion for this cause and your leadership.